Welcome back, Juventinita, to the Juventinita Back to Black and White podcast. My name is Daniel Lenegro, and I'm live from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And today we're going to be going into the season preview part 2 of the 2021 Serie A campaign, and that's going to be involving a familiar face. Now, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be going into the lineup. We talked about the schedule and some of the key matchups we're going to have to face, some of the key moments that, there was a definite easier route depending on seeding in Champions League, and hopefully we're lucky enough to do that. But now we're going to get into the lineup and the squad we have. Yep, you're right, Daniel. It's not finalized. We don't know if Dzeko's coming in. We don't know, what other transfers, because that's not gonna end till October 5th, like I've said in the last podcast. But guys, let's see what these two brains can come up with. So, Frankie, welcome to the show, man. Scranton, Penn.
Yeah, hey everybody. Good to be back. My name's Frank. You can follow me at Frankie the Worst. I'm absolutely the hottest takes that you can expect on Twitter. A lot of cuss words and a lot of vulgarities, but we're on Juve Twitter, so if you're not expecting that already, I don't know what to tell you. So
there we go.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention. Sorry to cut you off there, buddy, but the best Twitter handle, one of the best Twitter handles on all of the game, Frankie the Worst. But yeah, welcome. But anyway, so let's get into this new season, and I actually have to do a correction on the last show because me being an idiot and not preparing correctly, I forgot to look at what pots the Champions League are gonna come up in on October 1st. So I now have a clear picture of potentially who we could face, and it is going to be dangerous. There's a lot of teams in that second pot that could be some challenging groups into the fold. We have obviously the Bayern, the Real, Liverpool, Juve, PSG, Zenit, Porto, and Sevilla in number one. So you don't have to worry about any of those teams. But Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Man United, Dortmund, Chelsea, Benfica, and Shakhtar are all in number two. So there is no gimmies in that second pot. I mean, Benfica's maybe one of your easier teams in Shakhtar, but 2 out of the potential 8 there is interesting. And then you throw in the likes of Ajax and Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Leipzig, Merda's in that third one apparently, Olympiacos. So we'll see what happens there. And then at the end, you got Atalanta and some easier teams. Maybe Marseille is the best of the bunch in pot 4. But yeah, no, definitely could potentially create some group of death situation in the future. Obviously, October 1st. Check it out. Yeah, what do you think about that, Frankie? Doesn't make you feel any better, does it?
No, I'm looking at the list right now, and I mean, I would almost rather be in pot 2.
Yeah, well,
Frank. I mean, I know that's kind of a little tongue in cheek, but I mean, you look at teams like Barcelona. I don't know what to make of this season. This can either like Last Dance style, or it could be the fastest burning of a house you've ever seen, and Messi just takes the thing down with him. So could happen. You never know. They might be out of the running by the 10th match day. We don't know that. So we'll see. I'm kind of curious to see what they do in the Champions League. I mean, that's a little bit more of a go for it every single game kind of thing, rather than the league is a marathon, right? I mean, the Champions League, you're playing a game every couple of weeks, and then at that point, every couple of months, whatever. So you have a lot of time to prepare for whatever opponent you're coming up against. And, I mean, they're going to have some rest too. So I think if they're not competing in the regular league, I think they'll do all right in the Champions League. Atletico is still the scariest team. Them and Manchester City. Atletico is scary because, like half the time they can get beat by a team that they have no business getting beat by. And then the other half of the time they put up the defensive masterclass of the millennium.
Grinta show.
Yeah, some of the best attacking teams on the planet. I mean, they've made prime Barcelona and prime Real Madrid in the past look like the wheels weren't on the car. Like it's amazing to watch, but comes down a lot to the kind of the compactness and the tactical, intelligence of Simeone. And then City, I mean, City at this point, like they have so much money invested in that team that it's an all-star team. Like even if, in my personal opinion, even if any given day all 11 of them aren't playing well together, they could still pull 2-3 goals out of thin air because they have players that can do that. Like it's and they have a few of them that can do that. So yeah, pot 2 petrifies me. And then you still have teams like United, who I'm still always afraid of a little bit. Dortmund, I'm convinced Haaland is going to be like the best striker of all time, and we missed out on him, and that's my cynicalness. So I'm convinced that like Dortmund's going to just erupt this year. They already scored 5 goals in a game this year, and they paid 2 so far. So
good point.
They're terrifying. And then Chelsea's interesting. I like the fact that they got Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. So they'll be pretty scary too. But I mean, to your point, I think as you kind of go down pot 3 and pot 4, there are some teams that jump out, some teams that I am frankly a bit afraid of.
Well, I can name a few. I can
sense that we're Juventus, but
I can name a death squad right now that would just be, has our number now and apparently thinks that they can just kick the shit out of us. I guarantee you, Ajax, even without De Ligt, I guarantee you they still think they can do whatever they want. And like, just imagine either like Juve, Barca, Ajax, Juve, Atletico, Ajax, Juve, Man City, Ajax, and the list goes on. So I mean, that would just be horrible. And then you might even potentially, actually, you would potentially throw in like a Marseille, or who else do we got down there? Well, I guess Moscow's nothing to be scared of. You throw in like a Turkish team, maybe like Besiktas or like Rennes, who shouldn't really be there, but will probably like come out with scrappy. So
yeah.
Like, I don't know, like it potentially could be disaster just even in the draw. So again, knock on wood, we don't fucking have to worry about that. But hey,
after my experience a couple years ago with Galatasaray and watching that game, like I watched that in class at uni, and I had no business doing that. Like I had to leave. I was heated, like sweating, like I needed to leave, right? And since then I don't want to play Turkish team. I have no interest.
It's literally like fuck, like you almost get, like you said, nightmares over that one, because one, they cancel. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, we're gonna watch a game. Then they just cancel it, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm taking. I can't remember if I was in class or if I was working, because I had a different kind of schedule at that time. So I think I had to take the day off because either of school or of work, and then to witness like a fucking slush bucket of a frozen pitch, and like, what the fuck is going on? Then we go down 1 goal, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that Turkish teams, fun times.
Turkish teams and Portuguese teams right now. I still have mental scars from Europa League nonsense with Benfica and Galatasaray and Champions. They give me enough nightmares that I can go another 50 years without not playing a Turkish or a Portuguese team and it'd still be too soon.
Fair point. But let's get into the news now. So I just wanted to clarify that, guys. Thank you for putting up with that nonsense. But yeah, beautiful. What's the biggest news story? Well, we all know it's got to be Dzeko. And that's the biggest name in the game right now. Number 9. Apparently could be held up because of Karsdorp at Genoa. Inevitably blocking the move, which obviously he would continue at Genoa. Genoa would say, okay, we don't want him anymore. I believe it was a loan, a 2-year loan. And then essentially that would mean De Sciglio isn't moving to Roma. So that would kind of fuck that up. And then also, Dzeko is hinging on Milik and his medicals, if that even happens. But there's been, a lot of talks. Yes, it's done. Yes, in the next couple hours. It's been a few couple hours by now. So I don't know what the fuck everybody's going on about. But we have, we continue on to listen to the bullshit and wait for an official announcement. So that's really all that we can do at this point, unless you want to just start throwing more stuff into the wind. But that's not this channel. You might find yourself on another one. But anyways, yeah. So again, pretty much on standby until things are sorted. Alexi Lawless apparently had something good to say about Serie A for once, when talking about McKennie and saying he was a mix between Gattuso and Conte and Vidal. As we say in the U.S., he is Beauty and the Beast. Trust me, you'll possibly be surprised by Weston. Shocking, a good word came out of that guy's mouth on ESPN, because he's literally a clown. The clown. He's got the orange hair, so he's got the ginger curls there, so it all makes sense. But yeah, he's kind of praising the kid, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully he can actually get some minutes and contribute.
You have to agree with me in the sense that, like, but how could you possibly compare? The kid is how old? And we just called him Conte, Gattuso, and Vidal. What?
I'll take any praise we can get from that guy.
So will I. Listen, you listen. Call him Neil Armstrong. Call him call him some other Abraham Lincoln. Call him some other amazing American. Whatever. But like, Jesus, like that is extremely high praise. Like as he played, we're like, oh, this guy. And obviously he's played a bunch of games other than the fact. I'm not saying his career just started at Juve, but has he really shown so much promise that we're going to compare him to like two of arguably the best center midfielders in that type of position in the last 25 years? And then the other one is arguably the third best. So that's a tough sell for me. And I'm praying to everybody that's upstairs that he turns out to be even one of those guys. Fine with that. But like, that's the moment I read that, I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, relax. Let the guy kick the ball first.
Oh man, you kill me. You kill me with these one-liners. But yeah, I gotta agree with you on there. Like that's like a triple threat of like, what are we building players out of fucking former legends? Like, holy shit. But yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, all the best to the kid. Like I said, I hope he actually gets time to play, and you know how Juve is in that department with the youth products. But I think this might be a little bit different. Pirlo seems to be getting along with a lot of these players, different morale. Just looking at the different training videos and looking at the different the Novara whatever you want to call it, preseason friendly. And just speaking of Pirlo, there was an abstract taken from his thesis, which was called Il calcio che vorrei, which means the calcio, or soccer that I like. So, or I want, excuse me. And basically, he was talking about, players in winning the ball quickly, and, being able to, up that tempo and just getting the ball, holding on to the ball. Which really is something that Saturday tried to implement, funny enough. And so it's quite interesting that now we're kind of still in this, high press, possession-based attack. So we'll see what everybody's got. I'm quite curious to see everyone's opinions when this all potentially goes awry or not. Hopefully not, but what do you think? What are your thoughts on, possession-based creativity and talent are crucial in the last 30? Like, pretty much, again, it sounds like Saudi ball.
Well, I mean, it definitely.
I'm not to discredit Pirlo. Like, I'm sorry, but
I mean, Pirlo hasn't coached a game yet. I mean, he coached against Novara, which fine, okay, but fact of the matter is he still hasn't coached a game yet. So, I think it's two parts that he's trying to get at. I think he's trying to kind of continue what Saudi already did build, right? Because I mean, at this point, to switch into an entirely new system, for the players that have been there for 3 years, like even the best players are still going to have somewhat of a hard time switching from one system to one system to one system. Especially if they go from like a 3 at the back to what Saudi was playing to now what Pirlo's suggesting, that they're not necessarily night and day systems, but I mean,
right.
You have to learn them individually. So I think he's trying to get a little bit of that continuity going, as well as, I think for him, he has, I don't want to say younger players now, and that's an obvious thing, but, frankly, like, Sadi can explain over and over and over to a player like Khedira or a player like Matuidi who, like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and shit on them the entire time, but, like, neither of them were very spry in their older years when they were with us. So even if we wanted them to press quickly, if they didn't press quickly and win the ball immediately, they weren't chasing the ball down. Then you had a player like Pjanic who, his defense was like foul at the shin or don't at all. So, like when you get into those kind of players, like, you're sort of limited in how effective you can actually press. And I can kind of sympathize with Sadi on that. And then again, at the same time, I think Pirlo is trying to exploit that a little bit to say, I have younger players. You have players like McKinney, you have players like Kulusevski, like Arthur, you have, Bentancur. You have a midfield of younger players at this point that if you tell them to run for 90 minutes straight and they can't, it's more something on the player than it is, they're of the age that they should be able to do that. They shouldn't be gassed out after the fact. So, I think based on what his formation looks like right now, it's going to be the definition of like wait and see. I'm really interested to see how Kulusevski slots in the team. One really interested to see. I'm not really interested to see it. I should rephrase what I said. Upset because I think this is what's going to happen. If Dzeko joins, or even if Luis Suarez joins, if any like true number 9 joins, my worry is that Pirlo is going to put Dybala on the wing, and I think that he's going to not. I think he's going to know better than that because I think he watched the games that Allegri put him on the wing, and it didn't work.
We hope.
Right, we would pray. We would hope he had Juve TV or whatever the hell it's called. Like, we hope he paid his membership to the J Club. But like,
see, but it doesn't even work apparently, according to Roman. So,
yeah, exactly.
So he definitely didn't watch that.
Yeah, but it's.
But it was funny how you just did like a little. The brain was like, wait a minute, reverse. Dybala's gonna go to the wing.
But no, you know what I mean? And my hope, and I get that real life isn't FIFA, but my experiences in FIFA tell me that Dybala would be great behind the striker. Yeah. And I'm not like I'm saying that like kind of a smart ass, but like
ball don't lie. Virtual ball don't lie.
Right. And like all seriousness, I've always kind of thought Dybala to be very effective in like sort of a false 9 role with a little bit closer to the goal. Allowing a little bit more freedom in the middle, but keeping as pressed up as high as they can, and allowing the midfield to kind of win the ball back and distribute it either to the wings and play it inwards towards Dybala, or play to Dybala and let him distribute. I always liked the way that he played in that position. The problem was that, the coaches we've had so far weren't overly thrilled to play Higuain and Ronaldo in front of Dybala and then have 3 midfielders behind him who can't defend. Because, at that point, like, you have to just pray that De Ligt blocks every single shot. Or Bonucci makes every single tackle on the line. Like, at one point, we're going to leak goals for sake of we have no one to defend. I think with the players we have now, I think we're able to press a little bit more intently and actually, win the ball back the way that Sadi wanted to.
Yeah,
but have the personnel for it.
Yeah, that's true. I think, and then like you said, we got younger players, so that's gonna, hopefully the legs are actually there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be interesting because we have guys that want to prove themselves. We have guys that like they haven't looked great so far, like guys like Ramsey. Is he in? Is he out? I mean, there's still room to move. So again, we still have a little bit to wait and see, but the season starts when the season starts. So we got to give you the content you guys deserve. And Ipsos was feeling kind of bored and wanted to see again how many fans Juve had. So they did a little poll and confirmed we got about 8.839 million Juve fans in Italy. So over 30%, not too shabby. Even if you combine Inter and Milan, they still don't come close. So fuck you guys. Yeah, exactly.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I'm like, wow, 30 some, and then everybody else is in the teens. That sounds like how many championships are being out. That sounds all right.
Beautiful, Frankie. I love it. But yeah, that is fucking awesome. I just saw that and you just put that in my head and that is hilarious.
Yeah, I went to see.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously tomorrow, 2 p.m., which is going to be in not too long from now in Italy. Kulusevski is going to be announced. I believe he was number 44 already anyway, so I would assume he's going to stick with that number in black and white, but you never know. Maybe you got a change of heart. But that was the number he wore in the Novara game. This is another stupid ranking of the week. The most Instagrammed football jerseys. Juve is number 1, guys. We have 70,000. What is that? 70,870 hashtags. The question I have: how many of those were real jerseys?
How many of them were the sellers from overseas that were trying to sell them like buy a
Hashtag Juventus
$13.99? Yeah, free patches. Put whatever name you want on the back.
Yeah, fuck. And guys, I don't take this lightly. I'm not trying to take the piss out of people, that can't afford jerseys every year or whatnot. But it's literally that's more of a shot to CR7 fans because it's like, oh, they're gonna jump on that fucking chart. They're gonna be like, see, we buy the most jerseys out of everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm very my Juve collection at this point has to be a couple $100, almost $1,000, and that being said, like, I still to this day, if I think a jersey's ugly, I'm gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy the fake one because I'm gonna give them all the support that I can for, like, I buy a jacket, I'll buy a hat, I'll buy a pair of pants, I'll buy the other jerseys that I like. But like, if it's a jersey, like, remember a couple of years ago that lime green collared jersey?
I still bought it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm demented though, so don't take that like as a slight. But I'm kind of fucked up.
A name that you wouldn't have purchased, but
oh, definitely, no, I definitely bought that one. Pogba number 6, boys. Pogba number 6, hilarious. Lime green. Yeah, no, that's fucking beautiful. That's one of the top in the collection. I don't think I could give that. That one's priceless.
That's too funny.
Literally priceless. But fucking, what do we got next, boys and girls? Marquisio dropped a comment about the midfield. He says he doesn't know if the current midfield will be able to be as decisive as his. It was a beautiful midfield with the perfect alchemy, chemistry, maybe the right word when that translation should have been, but you have no idea how much I enjoyed being a part of it. Me too. I enjoyed it too until the last day of fucking the summer transfer window, and you tore our motherfucking hearts out on Yelly. Fuck you for reminding me of that right now.
Every day I still remind myself that Marquisio took a year vacation to Moscow. Or St. Petersburg, sorry.
Close enough. In and around.
He wasn't fucking Turin. I could tell you that much. He wasn't playing in black and white. He was in some blue colored jersey. I don't even know. I don't like it. It's not mine. Forget it.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's where they got the design out of that cloud jersey from.
Yeah.
It's a Zenit second.
I've been having, you know what, honestly, Adidas is really getting me upset now, though, because from what I've been hearing, and I haven't actually seen the picture to compare them exactly, but I guess one of Marseille's jerseys looks just like our cloud jersey from last year.
Leon.
I'm sorry. I mix them up every single time that I talk about them.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Like, how big does a team need to be to get their own jerseys?
And we lost to Leon. Maybe they're gonna get their own custom jerseys next year too. We're gonna get the templates.
It blows me away how many people are on Twitter that make these jerseys that are knockouts. Every single year, they make these brand new, beautiful jerseys, gold, black, white, whatever accents, gorgeous. Then Adidas is like, I had a paintbrush and, I just threw it at this Real Madrid jersey and changed the logo. That's all they did. And then I'm supposed to be like, oh, yeah, thank you. It's better than last year. I mean, Jesus, like.
It's true. It's like, hold on, guys, 1 second. Let me just get my blindfold so I don't see anything that happens on Twitter. It's not like there's any designers else in this world that have some, steal some of those ideas. I don't care. Take some of these people's ideas. They're begging you. They're begging you, please.
Even if it was like a third jersey where they left it up to like go on this website and design it, right? Like I think I don't know if we did that a few years ago, but I know some teams did it a few years ago.
Yeah, they did, and then they just went in like some completely different It was like it was that military green jersey.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind. It was all right for me.
I was gonna say, no, I actually really like that jersey. But that's what I mean. But like, I would love for a fan to be able to design the jersey so that at least if it stinks, we can say, you know what, it's okay because a fan designed it. There's a story behind it. Whatever. If an Adidas design sucks, what do we say? It's okay.
Lazy bastards.
Like, how big do we have to be? How many bigger clubs are there that Adidas has signed?
Tell me about it.
You know what I mean? And you look at Real Madrid, they have beautiful kits every single year. And yeah, sometimes they have kind of the recycled third kit or whatever. But like,
I told you, man, we get no respect. That's why I told Juve, I said, you want to win the marketability in. Oh, God, this is going to be too good. This is going to be too good. We're getting some good content these days. That's awesome.
The good news is my handle is Frankie the Worst. So,
Frankie the Worst.
If anyone was prepared for the technical difficulties and the bullshit beforehand, here I am.
Guys, we had a word with the mother lord, the big daddy Adidas, and they unfortunately took matters into their own hands and couldn't take the shit talking we had and just decided to turn Frankie's computer off remotely. So that's that.
My FBI agent and my webcam must be an Adidas fan. He must hate Nike, and he's
say hi to Jimmy.
Hey Bob, how you doing, cuz?
But anyways, boys and girls, we get back into it. Like I was saying, Juve AJ, he was saying that we needed this, marketability in Italy, and I mean we dominate there. I don't think that's the least of our concerns as Italy. We're gonna sell out there no matter what. My theory is we got to take on the world, and that's why we're getting put behind, even Arsenal and Bayern and Real and getting these shit jerseys. And it's just ridiculous. You look at Adidas and they get like even designers making their kits. They had that one black third jersey with like the dragon on it. But for us, that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
And it stinks too because I was always a really big fan of the Nike kits when we had them too.
Yeah, me too.
For the most part, I mean, there were definitely some that were misses. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm never a big fan of collared jerseys.
Oh, okay.
Not for any other reason, but like when I wear them around, like especially Juve jersey, like I don't like the collar and the stripes. I like one or the other. So, but that's my personal opinion. And like with Nike, even their collar jerseys were still kind of a knock out of the park.
Oh yeah, 14, 15
now, and it's like the clubs that have Nike, they are like they definitely have some template jerseys that they're using, but like you look at a team of PSG, like they have that special deal with Jordan. Like those, I have fought myself to not buy one of those kits every year that they've made them because they're so nice.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, because how am I gonna explain to someone with the Juventus tattoo and a PSG jersey? What do I say? Like,
yeah, that is a good one.
You know what I mean?
That is a good one. But yeah, no, it's I think I've talked about it with a few guests, and it's just bad dealings. The Palace kit I kind of enjoyed. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I think it was multiple things. One, we had a fucking half and half jersey. Two, when they fucking throw stripes on it, literally they could have fucking thrown stripes on anything, and people would have fucking bought the jersey. So
stripes on shit, and I would have bought it.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I'm waiting for these leaks of next year's jersey. Mm-hmm. I really want to know because there's going to be just riots if it's anything short of just a plain black and white stripe fucking jersey out of my end, at least.
I can only hope that there's one guy who's going to walk in the room at Adidas and he's going to say, guys, maybe just this year, we just do the stripes again. Like Adidas's first jersey, I think we talked about this last time. Adidas's first jersey was one of my favorites ever. Like the stripes, I thought the stripes were well done. Maybe they were a little bit too thin, whatever. But like even the shoulders had the Adidas black and white stripes going down the side. They did it well. It works. Yeah. And then they did like the 2 black stripes. That was fine too. That was a Real Madrid kit with some paint on it.
Yeah.
But I was even okay with that because it's still.
Oh, the pinstripe one. Yeah.
You know, and then
the next one was nice too. The next one was, I think, would say almost top 5, top 10 kits. The one with like so the only shitty part about the jersey is they put the Scudetto above the Adidas because it had that like squared collar with the button.
Oh, yep. That was one. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
That's a classic jersey. And then they were just like, well, we gave you classic, so now we're just gonna fucking go all out there and just give you, you know, paint brushes and half and halves and we'll figure it out. Next year's gonna be zigzags.
And you know what? Here's the definition of my stupidity, right? Barcelona, I'm 95% sure on this. So if I'm wrong, fact check me and tweet at me and tell me I'm an idiot because I'll accept that. I'm pretty sure when Barcelona did their blue and red half and half jersey, they won the Champions League that year.
Yeah.
This entire season, that was what I thought. I was like, well, if there's ever going to be a year to win it, right? Like, well, shit, it's going to be this one, right? Quarantine.
Oh my God.
Like everything that I'm superstitious. I'm like a Southern Italian guy. Like everything has like some like, oh yeah, well, God put this here. Yeah, this did this did that. So like,
It was also a centenary year, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
So we didn't have that. Maybe that's why the cookie didn't shake out the way it did.
9 out of the 10 stars aligned. We were missing the last one.
So, I mean, fuck. But this Adidas deal, man, I know we were getting 51 million out of it, but like, do me a favor. Someone go to Nike and be like, well, just give us like 52 and maybe some Jordan, you know, apparel, and we'll switch some shit up around for you guys. Fuck. Yeah, no, I was always a Nike. I mean, obviously Kappa's Kappa, but they're never gonna give us that kind of money.
The Kappa is to have Kappa one last time, or just to Kappa to just like the Kappa is obviously still making a lot of jerseys, but like I would love nothing more than like a one last ditch like Kappa Adidas collab, something.
Pretty much Kappa could remake every single jersey from the 90s until like the early 2000s.
Sell out.
And sell out within about 2 minutes every drop. So, absolutely. I mean, Kappa, let's go. Let's work something out. Like 100 million. I think that's fair enough. You know, maybe you give that in installments over the year. Wait till the first drop happens. You drop about 3-4 of those jerseys, you're going to be making 100 million in one shot. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
You look at other kit producers too, like Puma with what they're doing with I mean, honestly, what they're doing with Milan's pretty impressive. I like it a lot. Yeah. I'm personally a pretty big fan of the jersey that they put out for Milan, but like what they did with Borussia Dortmund, like what do we need to do? How many Juventini need to beg on how many podcasts before Adidas gives us an all black jersey, all black? No,
yeah, I know.
I just want lush black. Like that. There's a Dortmund jersey out right now that even the logo, everything is black, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And Juve wouldn't do that in a million years. They would get all black, and then they would throw like puke green on the front or like piss yellow on the back. It's like, here you go.
We'd have to get relegated to Serie B to have a fucking black jersey. That's for sure. Yeah, that's the only way. It's like, okay, it's a funeral, so we'll make a all black kit for you guys. Yeah. That makes sense. It's like, that's class, boys and girls. Like, I don't understand. Like, yeah. And actually, the funny thing is, Max on the podcast yesterday was actually wearing that exact black kit that you're talking about. Was he? So it's a small world, boys and girls. It's a small world. But
he did what I couldn't do. I haven't been able to buy another club's kit since like 2020.
No. He was wearing the Juve one. Not the
I thought you were saying he was wearing the black Dortmund kit. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, geez. All right, never mind. Okay,
I was just like, I was like, Max, please wear your Dortmund.
yeah, Max. We wear a Dortmund jersey because we're talking about Juve on the whole podcast. So you just bring in another team quick.
Frankie the worst, the best, man, the best. But anyways, let's get back into it. Fuck this jersey talk. It's depressing me because we're never gonna see a nice jersey again. Meanwhile, Suarez apparently has arrived to do his exam. Guys, we're still this is the media. This is what we're getting nowadays. We're following Suarez. We're wondering if he knows how to take Italian, if he knows how to read a fucking book in Italian, if he knows how to talk to his nonna. I don't understand. Literally, he goes and now he's apparently passed this exam according to multiple sources. But Romeo Agresti's saying his future isn't in Italy anyways. Obviously, he's got a use for having a European passport. But apparently that ship has sailed, and that was just some more. I don't know who started that. Was it that Monblano? I wouldn't be shocked. So
I wouldn't be surprised either. Yeah.
I mean, figure that out. Apparently, there was an agreement though between Roma and Juve, 16 million, and what is it, 7.5 a year? Yeah, 7.5 a year for 2 years. And apparently the medicals are in the next hour, so I don't know if we got any live. Hold on, let me just see. Nope, sorry, the live feed is not there. No, maybe we'll get that one next time, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, so we can't confirm if Dzeko is getting his medical in the next hours or so. So sorry.
How do you feel about that? I'm curious because I never particularly felt good about either. Both were players that 5 years ago, like I was dying for them to sign with us. Like when Dzeko was leaving City and when Suarez was leaving Liverpool. I mean,
okay, Suarez. Okay. I thought you were talking Milik, but anyways,
Liverpool, that's a whole different story. But I mean, even when Suarez was at Barcelona, any given year he was at Barcelona, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. Yeah. Except last year. So like, you know what I mean? This is the one time that I was like, I don't really want him. And Dzeko, I mean, Dzeko's consistent, but I mean, he's an older player. And as far as I'm concerned, like the stopgap thing's important because yes, we need a striker right now, but at the same time, like, you know, if we need a striker so badly, then don't aim for 2 years, aim for 3 years and get somebody maybe, you know, who's 28, 29, 30, rather than aiming for 33 and 34 years.
Yeah. Or maybe like 22, 24, Holland.
Yeah, that's the ideal world. I don't expect, listen, that we'll see the 25-year-old and under crew roll out in the black jerseys as soon as they sign for us. But you know, I mean, like I said, we see players like Haaland who like a team like Dortmund takes a bet on him, and then he's a superstar. And you know, obviously he only had the time that he had, but I mean, it was a pretty impressive year.
Frankie, I don't think it's even a bet. It's Juve is stubborn. We don't let. Like I guarantee you, in the meeting, this is what happened. Okay, how much do you want? Okay, we can do that. Okay, what's the 30 million? Okay, we can do that. Okay, how much playing time do you want? I want to start. Wow, you can't sit on the bench? No, I want to be a starter. Have you seen how many goals I scored? Yeah, but did you score in Serie A? No, I've only played in the Bundesliga. Yeah, sorry, man. We can't really accommodate that here. We only the only young guys we bring in are for Plus Valenza, and that's how that interview went.
my thing that's always very head scratching is like players talk all the time about how I want to play with Messi, I want to play with Ronaldo, I want to play with De Bruyne, I want to play with whoever, right? Like we have Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Do we have the worst marketing group? Not marketing team, but like in the fucking discussion, is there really nobody who's just like, now, besides the money you'll be making, you'll also be playing with a guy that you had posters of on your wall. No one mentions that.
Nah, they were probably like, actually, you know what? We're probably going to get rid of Ronaldo either this season or next season. So really, that's not going to be an option for you.
Yeah, like you know, and then you look at players like De Ligt, where it's like, you know, everyone always retweets the video of like Ronaldo walking up to him, hey, cuz, you know, sign for Juve, come on over. Oh, okay, sure. And then he gets on the plane and he's there. So it's like, well, where the fuck are the rest of the players? No one else wants to play with Ronaldo. It was just him.
I mean, Agnelli's a cheap Italian motherfucker. So, like, literally, he flew his jet out to fucking, where was it, Greece?
Yeah.
To go fucking meet Ronaldo. Get the fucking team. Get whoever. Eros Ramazzotti. Throw on the fucking plane. Throw on fucking half the squad. Ronaldo, his wife, kids, and anyone else who he wants to bring. I don't care what you got to fucking do. Bring whatever you got to do. Send it to his house. Say, this is what we got. We got Ronaldo. You got best player in the world. You got that. What do you want? We can make you a starter. Bullshit. Come on, you're fucking Italian. You should definitely know how to fucking bullshit, even if he's not going to be a starter.
That's what I mean. That we were like, our country is predicated on being able to bullshit. That's how we got like half the land that we have. That's what our heritage spreads far and wide because of our ability to bullshit. If we weren't able to bullshit, But yeah, no, I just, it frustrates me, and it's particularly difficult. To your point, I think they're stubborn because I'm convinced Juve is waiting for this like superstar Italian number 9 to pop out of Serie C, where they can just say like, "Oh, you have him. Thank you very much." And then
somebody,
yeah, like this, right? Like either you are young and they turn, or you bet on a player that is proven, but understanding what you're going to get out of. I don't want to bet on 34-year-old. Like if we're so insistent on going after a player that's a little bit older, that if you want him to be fucking Italian or whatever, like you could throw enough money at Belotti and he'll come over. I'm not saying I want Belotti.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in the past, before he was indoctrinated into Torino the way that he is, we could have gotten.
Yeah.
There was a very real possibility that he could have joined our team. He's everything that Juve wants from this like stereotypical, like we want a very Italian team, we want et cetera, but we never go after those players. We go after like Higuain was the biggest purchase like we had up to that point, and even that was, he was still 28, 29.
I don't think Juve wants an Italian team at all, though. I got to disagree on that. I don't think we do. I really don't.
I think historically we have. So I think maybe it's historically. It's historically. Maybe it's because we're going to J Corp and not Juventus anymore.
Yeah,
so
I think it's whoever's going to sell a jersey. Really. And I mean, Dzeko, I honestly, even I was with Roma, I was surprised that they were going after him. I've never been a big fan of Dzeko. Not saying that he isn't a good player, but I just, for some reason or not, maybe because he was playing for City and my opinion of City is such, but I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of him, so maybe that's kind of getting. I mean, 2 years is not bad. 7.5, that's all right. 16 million is not too big of a hit. So I mean, I wouldn't be, pissed. But what does piss me off is what we're gonna get into, next, the important part of this episode, the formation. So you put Dzeko in, and then what does that mean? Well, if you're going 4-3-3, that means Dybala's on the wing, or he's in the number 10 role. He could be on a number 10, 4-3-1-2, or 3-4-1-2. There's a whole bunch of ways you can slice it. And then for Suarez, no way. Way too much money. Way too much money. And then Barca wanted like 15 or 16 million. No. Not 10 to 12 million or whatever, 10.5 million. And then you think you're going to get like 16 million out of us? I don't think so. Not for a player like that. I think he's, again, like you said, I don't think he's at the same level. And those are my thoughts on. I think for me, it's if you don't need to, like if you can bring someone, even Keane, I'm not too, impressed with him. Obviously, I've seen what he did with us, but I'm not pretty. I don't like his attitude, the way he's been perceived in certain situations. But if there's something where you can get a guy on loan and you don't have to break the bank, you make that move. Sometimes, like I've said, again, this is gonna be the second or third time saying it, but sometimes the best thing to do is sit on your hands. I mean, you don't need to make a move. And it seems like we're like forcing something that, I don't know. So, and this is why I want to bring this up too. And it talks about the formation. There's a couple points that, there's one last point really that we'll get into for news, and then we'll get into these formations. But when Juve gets in the mindset, they have to do something. Like, now, like everybody was talking about midfielder, fullback, number 9. Okay. But are we going to get into this formation where we're just going to be crossing the ball in again, like Allegri, just now because we have a number 9? Is that, and then we're going to realize that the number 9 is only one player, and you still have to get the guy the ball.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter who you got up at number 9. You got to get him the ball. So that's one thing. The last and final part of the news, Higuain finally terminated his contract officially. Signed, sealed, delivered, and that's going to cost us a capital loss of 18.3 million. So get ready next June, everybody, because we're going to fucking sell some Plus Valenza at a discount, or maybe not a discount, maybe at an agreed fee, as always.
Yeah.
But that's it for news, guys. Again, constant BS, and I can't wait till October 5th. That's just me, but let's get into the formation. So obviously we've seen how Pirlo set the team up against Novara, and it was kind of like a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, depending on how you look at it. And to me, it was kind of, I don't know if it was maybe just a touch and feel, see how things go, put Ronaldo up top, let's see where he can run around. Kulusevski was also as like a striker at the top, and we had like a lot of wingers, and I posted it obviously before, and a lot of you guys got back to me and had your thoughts on how the formation should be. But interesting game, 5-0 win. Saw some good quality out of a whole bunch of players. Ramsey was included, and then you also saw two later on. Rugani's getting the captain's armband apparently, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily the way we set up. You're gonna have De Ligt out for maybe 3 months, or until whatever, October, maybe November. So I just don't see the 3 being an option. What are your thoughts on the 3 at the back? Or is that something you're looking to see under Pirlo? Is a 3-man back line? Frankie?
Well, I gotta start off by saying, you saying Rugani has the captain's armband, it made my palms sweat. So that was no good. I don't like that. But the 3 at the back's tough because I don't know. Before, when we had 3 at the back at the BBC, we had very much a we'll say like a back line general in every player, in the sense that between Buffon, Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, every single one of them can yell at every player on the field and get them organized just as well as any of the other ones can. With obviously some having better leadership qualities, but fact of the matter is they all can do it. Nowadays, with 3 at the back, I don't know who we play. I mean, I think the default probably has to go to you might disagree with me on this, because I don't start Chiellini anymore because I think he's frankly too old, and he
Okay.
just came off of like 2 pretty big injuries over the last 5 years or so. So I mean, being in your 30s and getting an ACL injury it's players in their 20s sometimes don't recover fully. So my hope is that comes back stronger than ever. But what do they say? Father Time's undefeated. So my expectation, if they had a 3 in the back, would have to be Bonucci, De Ligt, and Demiral, right? But my issue with that is I don't particularly trust Rugani to slot into that, and to teach defenders to play a 3 at the back. It's a much more narrow mindset than if you teach them to play, depending on how he plays a 3 at the back. Because if he keeps rotating it so that one of the wing backs kind of turns it into a 4 at the back, then I feel a little bit better. But if he's just training these players to play 3 at the back constantly, and then he has to change to a 4 at the back formation, they're just not used to playing it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Frankie, though. Just to cut you off there, I think you're right in that sense, because that's the way Sarri did it last year. Sandro would come back and slide in beside between Bonucci and beside Bonucci and De Ligt, or whoever was the CB at that game, if that was Rugani or not. But that's what he was forced to do at that time, because we had a right back who's a right winger.
Yeah.
And I think we should still stick with the 4, and if that's how he wants to do it, and slide someone back as a 3, and then work that way, I think that's going to be the best. But I don't know necessarily. Again, you're going to put, if you're thinking that Chiellini, and who knows, Chiellini probably would start in that 3 with Bonucci and let's say Demiral, or maybe even Rugani or someone like that. Let's say to start as a 3-5-2. which I don't necessarily mind, because in the 3-5-2 you're given a little bit more reins for your wing backs, right? But you also have a little bit more support having that extra defender, right? And then you have two guys that kind of are supposed to cover for your wing backs when they can in certain positions, right? Right side, left, that kind of ideas. So if we, and again, it's been talked about it in press conferences. He said we've talked about four, possibly defending, maybe in a 4-4-2 or whatever, and then attacking in a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 or whatever it could be. So again, there's going to be some combination play, potentially, but
My
yeah,
fear, to be honest, is that we don't sign a right back, and we have to keep. My fear with a 3-5-2 or any variation of a three back line is just that like the left side, I feel
yeah,
I want to give Alexandre, like the guy is consistent in at least one thing or another. I don't know which one it's going to be on any given. He'll play well one way or another. The right side, like Cuadrado, as a right back, already wanders up to right wing and doesn't get back. And when he does, he's out of breath and he makes either a bad tackle or misses it entirely, and he gets beat. And my fear is, if we have, Chiellini, Bonucci, and Rugani or Demiral or whoever in the back three, my worry is that, they're not going to have the same kind of cover as when we had Lichtsteiner, who Lichtsteiner could be inside the opponent's goal and he'll get back to our goal faster than anybody else in the field would. So, with him on the side, I can kind of, but yeah, no, to your point, I think what Sarri kind of demonstrated last year is what's going to inevitably carry over to this year. I think Pirlo is going to try to carry over a lot of that for continuity, but no, I think what's going to be interesting this year is seeing how Pirlo is able to kind of switch from one formation to another and be a little bit fluid with it. We saw that with Allegri. I mean, I thought his strongest characteristic was the fact that, one game he can play with one formation, and then the moment you make an adjustment, he makes three more.
Yeah,
and completely neutralizes you. My hope is that Pirlo is able to kind of, look at a four at the back and say, okay, but we do have the personnel out there to turn into a three if we're attacking, or a four if we're defending.
yeah, I agree 100%, and that's kind of what he's gonna have to put up with. Again, like you said before, it's nice that Luca Pellegrini is an option, so that left side is kind of secured now, or at least, you have depth there. You're not just playing a guy game after game after game and wearing him down and tearing. Then he hurts his MCL, or it was an MCL or ACL, but a little tear, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. And again, just to wrap up with the CBs, with the three in the back, I think preferably we start with four, with obviously a left back and a right back, and kind of exhibit what we have last year, just because it's fresh in the mind, like you said, Frankie. And yeah, I don't know if DeCilio's gone. It seems like we have too many Teflon Dons in this squad, apparently. So apparently everybody can just dodge bullets, apparently. So guys, I don't know what to tell you. Kadir is still on the squad, and we're halfway through September. So
we just need to sign one contract as a player.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad I'm playing. Can't make me leave. They can't make Kadir leave, and they can't make me leave.
Well, that's exactly the case. They have no control over that. So let's see what happens. Let's get into the midfield now. Obviously, Artur, new player in the squad. Weston McKennie, new player in the squad. And Kulusevski, depending on if you think he's a right winger or a midfielder, he's also a new player in the squad. So what is your best take at the midfield? And how do you set it up? Do you do, is it a 5? Is it a 3? Is it 2 and 3 with a lone striker? What's your opinion?
The midfield's the one that I think has the most questions, because the midfield can be a position can be almost taken up by Dybala, and you have to leave a midfielder on the bench. I mean that in I hate to say the attacking mid, because I really do consider it more of a false 9, pressing up a little bit higher. But, I mean, Dybala is the way that he plays. I mean, he has a characteristic that he comes back on defense because he just hustles hard.
Yeah.
Well, even if you put him at striker, he still ends up fighting for midfield balls. I mean, that said, I think as of right now, our strongest midfield is Arthur, Bentancur, Rabiot, and then the fourth one's kind of the toss-up one. Like I said, it's either Dybala if you play it where he's up further and you have kind of the two strikers on either side of him playing a little bit more wide than central.
Yeah.
Or I want to see what McKinney plays like. I want to see what I'm not the kind of guy who goes and watches YouTube video highlights to just say like this is how he plays. It's a good way of getting a start, but I mean, like until I can see how he plays with the players we have, I really can't get a feel for how he's going to end up performing overall. Even if he played great in the Bundesliga, or he played great wherever wherever whatever player came from.
Right.
Until I see how they gel with us, and I mean, it seemed from you played. Like I said, I think we talked about this last time. One player that I thought had been missing from our midfield for a while now has been kind of that destroyer type. Like, it's funny that Alexi Lawless used those three because I think if I listened to the last podcast, I mentioned like two of those three about who I wanted. But like exactly that, like a Gattuso or Vidal type who like. If the moment your playmaker loses the ball, that player is coming in to destroy and take that ball right back and try to redistribute and play that high pressure. So I think McKinney's going to be like that. I think based on what I've heard and based on what I've been reading, he's very much a workhorse. He has iron lungs. So that always bodes well for that kind of player to just always be running at the ball, never running out of steam. It was something that I always hoped Matuidi could do when he was here, was like actually tackle rather than getting to the ball and then not doing anything. Like he had a great ability to get to the ball, and then once he was there, he just stopped, being able to use his motor skills. But
alrighty, and then let's go up top. So I've kind of been writing down while you've taken the lead there, Frankie, kind of how my final makeup would be, and it's going to be very similar to last year. But talk about the forwards. Obviously, Ronaldo's going to be on the left side somewhere, roaming, doing whatever he wants to do.
Ronaldo on the bench to start.
Don't say that, man. My podcast is going to get shredded, my friend.
Ronaldo is my favorite player ever. He's the best player ever. I love him. The strikers that I would put up there, I mean, assuming we have Dzeko, I think Ronaldo and Dzeko is a good starting up top, especially if he played the ball in the back a little bit behind them.
Yeah.
That said, I'm going to be honest, I really, really, really like Kulusevski. Like, I didn't like him when we first signed him because if I'm being honest, like, I don't mean to sound like too forward.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
He doesn't look like a very. He doesn't look like his body's matured yet. Doesn't look like he grew any muscles yet. So like, he could be a great player, but like at the same time, like I don't want him to get tapped by a defender and get sent across the field. Like that's not what I need either, right? So, but I mean, based on what I've been seeing in the games that I've been able to catch of him playing for Sweden, and then in the game that we just had, plus the Parma games that he was kind of exploding in towards the tail end of last season, he looks awesome, and he looks like a pretty good complement to Ronaldo and Dybala for that matter. He looks like a kind of guy who he can take on defenders himself as well as he can he can play the 1-2s that Dybala and Ronaldo both love playing with each other. He finally is kind of that third option that I kind of always wished Bernardeschi and Costa would be. But like Costa is made of glass and Bernardeschi like forgets his boots every game. Except for the games where he doesn't. And when he does it, he's a superstar. But like I can't keep playing the same highlights from the same game against Atletico Madrid.
Well, see, the one thing, and that's kind of what I want to discuss as well, is I'm looking at this roster, and in terms of the wing position, it does look like there's room to shred some contracts and to move some players, because how I have it set up, The depth coverage is there if you want to move someone. So, and then depending on what happens with Dzeko, I mean that could, that's also going to free up some room. So let's see what happens. The one thing I'm confused about, like I'm just looking on Wikipedia, what players we have in the squad, and under Dybala's positions as right wing, attacking midfield, second striker, but it doesn't say central defensive mid for some reason.
It's crazy.
I guess they didn't get the Allegri memo.
They didn't even. Yeah, they didn't read his thesis.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah.
It's online, so I don't know why they didn't.
Guys, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Wikipedia. Don't trust everything you read, right, guys? So,
No,
anyways,
the wingers definitely. We're in a weird time where.
We got Piazza too, right? So,
right. Yeah, we're in a weird time where this is like this quarantine mercato is very. Players aren't getting bought for big money because there's so much extra variable involved for every single team that you just aren't seeing like big money moves. I mean, even the players that are moving for big money, like he was arguably the most young kid in the Europe last year. So my thought is we've been seeing with a lot of these transfers that they're trades.
Yeah.
Effectively, right? Or like trades with 10 million attached or whatever, playable over 5 years, whatever. I think that's kind of where our problems are going to be is like, are we going to be able to get rid of Doug Costa and Bernardeschi, whoever else we're trying to get rid of without like expecting their full value in sale? Like I can't expect to sell Bernardeschi for the 40 million we got him for.
Yeah. Well, I think even before the Dzeko deal happens, Piazza's going to be on loan somewhere. Mm-hmm. It just has to happen because I don't see enough space. So why don't you give me your formation and who's going to fill out that bracket? Exactly. Okay. So obviously, I'm assuming you're going to put Tech in goal.
Yep. Yeah. Unless we pull out some signing that I could never expect. But
Donnarumma.
Technically, my back line right now, I think, has to be Alexandro. Is everybody healthy?
Everybody's healthy.
I would say Alexandro.
Except Khedira.
Right, yeah. No, never.
ACL, sorry.
If he was healthy, he might actually play the game, so no. We would have Alexandro, De Ligt, either Bonucci or Demiral. I actually kind of tend to go with Bonucci just from experience. And, I still love the fact that he can pass the ball like 75 yards onto your foot. Yeah. Like that's really underrated for a defender. And like, when you take that out of the game, like, we see when he's not in the game, like the build up play from the back's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the right back, I mean, I kind of hate to have to put Guardado there, but I mean,
are you looking at my paper? Stop.
Yeah. You got the mirror in the back, so I see it. No, I don't. Yeah, exactly. We should put up the folders like in grade school. I have to put Guardado there. I mean, until we sign somebody else, we could sign me or you, and I would put us there before him. But like,
and Danilo's not going there before Cuadrado, so
absolutely no. You know what that's like? This comparison is bad, but it's like I'm staring at two different trash cans and saying like that one smells better than that one. Like that's fine, but you're still two trash.
True enough.
Midfield, I would say in a diamond with an attacking mid, false nine, whatever you want to call that top position. Okay. The furthest most back would be Bentancur. I think he played there enough last year, kind of debutizing for Pjanic, and I think he played well there, and he has kind of the physical qualities to play well there for years to come, not just for a little while. Rabiot on the left, Arthur on the right, or McKinney on the right. Like I said, I kind of want to see how McKinney is. I want to start Arthur all the time because I think that he is a significant player. Like Barcelona signed him when they signed him, and he was pegged to be an extremely good player. And he played very, very well the entire time he was there. It wasn't as if he didn't play well. It was the fact that Barcelona spent, $700 million on players and is starting 3 of them. So, and then in front of them, like I said, false nine, attacking mid, hybrid, whatever you want to call it. I put Dybala, and then in front of him, without counting Dzeko, I put Ronaldo and Kulusevski. I don't think that we're gonna. I'm praying we don't play crossing into the box every single game. I can only hope.
I hope. Me too.
Now we
Me
finally
too.
have a midfield that can actually like hold the ball in the midfield and pass it to another, rather than dump it to the corner and hope someone runs there. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my 11.
All right. So I'm pretty similar. Mine's gonna be a 4-4-3 falso nueve. Again, my back line is exactly the only difference is Chiellini De Ligt is going to be kind of a rotating position.
Yep.
As long as Chiellini can stay fit, he'll get half of the games or whatever they want to do the split, maybe a quarter of the games, whatever. Like I said, the training staff knows better. Then you're going to have Bonucci beside him, and Cuadrado as your right back, like I said, similar to what you said. Now, the only difference in the midfield, I'm going to have a 3 in the midfield, kind of flat, kind of, two mezzala with, I guess you could drop Artur back, but Artur is going to be my playmaker. And I just thought that, towards the end, Bentancur's value was trending pretty high at the beginning of the restart. And then it started to dip a little bit towards the end. Now, I don't know if it's just, COVID times and, playing every 3 games and a whole bunch of stuff having more pushed upon him, but he's not going to have a Pirlo, or not a Pirlo, Pjanic anymore. So it's going to be a little bit different. He's going to have more experience. Again, Ramsey and McKennie can come on as subs. Khedira, get the fuck out of my club. Oh, did I say that? Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Get the fuck out of my club. Anyways, again, falso nueve. So we're going to have Dybala obviously kind of in the middle. And then again, Kulusevski on the right, Ronaldo on the left. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? Like I said, if Dzeko comes in, there's no other way than putting him, I would say, as the 9 in the center and Dybala on the right. Maybe you do a 4-3-1-2, and then he's more of that number 10 role. But then Ronaldo is going to get an attitude and say, well, I'm a fucking, I'm better on the wing, I can't fucking be a striker for you guys, even though I'm getting paid 31 million. Anyways, rant over. So that's kind of how I see a lineup. Pretty plain and simple. Not changing anything. Again, but there's some pieces like DC I have here, Berna I have here on the bench. We're gonna have to move some of those. If Dzeko comes in, for sure you're gonna have to do something, or you're gonna have a logjam. Piazza is also there, like I said. And then defense, I think the reason you keep Rugani, one for him being Italian, and you also have Demiral as an option. De Ligt for starts is not, like I said, is not going to be able to play, and so having a 3, you're just down too many guys. Obviously, Chiellini's injury prone, so do you risk actually starting with the 3? And obviously Alexander not being that third center back, but then obviously Pellegrini as a sub and Danilo as a sub for the right side. And that's all she wrote, boys and girls. I think I'm just gonna go through some of the comments now that you guys posted on Twitter and see what your take was, boys. Obviously Frankie Nizzardo at Matteo Nizzardo. I'm getting. What time is it? Yeah, it's time to go to bed, boys and girls. He said that no way, 3 at the back. No way. He had Sandro, Demiral, De Ligt, Cuadrado. Again, diamond formation, like you said, with Rabiot, Bentancur, Artur, Dybala, and Ronaldo and Dzeko up top. Interesting take. I said that Cuadrado kills me to see him in the lineup at all. I think everybody could agree with that. Then we have black and white circles, like my good buddy Nilesh. He says, now that Dzeko's coming, someone's game time will be crushed, and Juventini know who suffers. Number 10.
I hope not.
So I hope we really don't get into this, man. I really do. It's like, am I going to be reliving that year with Allegri again? I really hope not, because then it's going to.
Does Dybala have to fit the Del Piero mold for Juve to realize that like
Yeah.
the guy's dying to never leave here. He
Yeah.
wants to be a legend. Can we please just stop building around these other people? Like just
It's that simple. Kind of contrary though, Luca, obviously a real Juve snob, real underscore Juve snob, who's been on the show. He actually likes the 3-5-2. That I kind of so I posted an image like you guys have seen of the Juve Novara lineup, and he said the only changes he would make, obviously, instead of Danilo in the left mid or left wing back, he'd put Sandro, Demiral as the third center back, with Chiellini and Bonucci, and Bentancur in McKennie's position. So it would line up Rabiot, Ramsey, and Bentancur with Cuadrado as your right mid, Kulusevski and Ronaldo as your strikers. So that's interesting. Take that what
Kulusevski, right?
Sorry?
Did you say that Kulusevski was the only new player in that lineup?
Yes, that would be the only new player in that lineup. Yep.
Okay.
I was
really curious because we did just sign a couple of players. So as much as I want to leave Arthur on the bench for Ramsey, like I would really need to be convinced that Ramsey's going to deliver more than you know.
Well, it's the Juve way. They're never ready. They're never ready.
Right. They're ready when they leave.
Yeah, and then add Daddy Torgo. Not in the 3-5-2, I'll tell you that. Maybe it has to be that way till Dybala is healthy, or you get another striker, but not regularly. That's for damn sure. So yeah, a lot of kickback about the 3-5-2 that we won so much in. Again, different squad guys, so that's really the name of the game. When you have to suit your players, and again, there's no need in moving too far away from center, and we kind of have something that was working, and we have a youth injection like we've talked about, and I think that's how she's gonna roll. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Pirlo gets up to. We'll see what injuries happen. Right, that's always gonna be a factor. And Frankie, thank you for coming on the show, bud. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. Always happy to come on, and we'll talk. We'll talk next time when we have actual film to complain about, rather than just words and names in the sky and Momblano tweets and Agresti tweets and following planes that don't land and all this shit.
Well, I got to put in my bio, 60% of the time it works every time. So
exactly.
Those are my odds, guys. 60% of the time it works all the time. So that's how I'm going by in transfers. And that's gonna wrap this one up, boys and girls. Number 2 season preview done. What do we got lined up for us? Obviously, the 3rd season preview. We're going to talk about transfer roundup. Let's see what happens in a day. But we're going to look at the signings we've made. We're going to look at the actual figures, the contract lengths. A couple players that we've obviously had to terminate contracts, and some more maybe to come, some more maybe to go. We have till October 5th, but we're going to look at the and obviously another face, another Juventino to come on the show. So look forward to that. But there's a healthy lineup coming up this weekend, so pack it in. Put some headphones on. Go for a drive and just listen to some podcasts, guys. So thank you guys for all the support as always, and continue to follow. The channels: Juventinita, DAL, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, YouTube, all those great places. And please drop a 5-star. Give me some motivation. If you agree, drop some comments. What you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. Some laughs, some me talking about clowns sometimes, maybe not, but it is what it is. Guys, you guys have for us it's a good night, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Cheers.
As always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao ciao.
Ciao.